Hello, everybody. What is happening? Zach Kurgel here doing your dog thoughts video of the day. So, today we're going to talk about proofing, air quotes, proofing your obedience in your dog. What does proofing mean? Proofing simply means giving your dog a test to ensure that the obedience that you have taught them is sealed in their brain and that they will follow through with that behavior even under distraction. So, if you want to equate proofs or tests to equal distractions, that's pretty close, pretty similar. And this is where most owners run into problems because they teach their dog a behavior, but they don't proof the behavior. So the dog learns to do a certain behavior, maybe in a certain spot of the house or with a certain person of the family. But if it's somebody different or if it's not in the kitchen and it's out in the front yard, they're like, whatever, I'm not doing it. Because they haven't been taught you have to do this behavior no matter the distraction or the surroundings. And so the way we do that is we put them in different surroundings and we put them in different distraction levels and then ask them to do the same behavior. So a really good example of this would be your typical sit and stay. Okay, so we teach our dogs to sit and then we teach them to stay in that spot until we release them. And again, a lot of times this is what happens is people say, well, my dog sits great at dinner time when it's time to eat dinner. Well, of course he's going to, because he's done that numerous times and it always ends in food, and it's usually always in the same spot of the house, and it's usually at the same time, and it's usually with at least one or two people that are the same people doing it. So the dog is just in the habit of, this is what I do, right? But what we need to do is take the dog out of that scenario and put him in a different scenario and tell him to do the same thing. So I would take the dog from inside to out in the front yard, and I would bring a tennis ball with me and keep it in my pocket. And I would put a leash on the dog and I would tell the dog to sit and stay, right? And then I would take the tennis ball out of my pocket and I would throw it to the side. And the dog's 9 times out of 10 is going to break that sit and want to go chase the ball. And as soon as they do, I'm going to pop with the leash and say, bring them back to the same spot, sit, stay. Grab the ball again, throw it to the side. If the dog doesn't break the sit, I'm like, yes, boom, 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 lots of food. Good job, buddy. Let's do that again. And you do it again. You throw the tennis ball. And then you throw the tennis ball way up in the air. And then you throw the tennis ball to the other side. Because in all these little tests that you're doing, you're telling the dog, I want you to sit and stay regardless of where this ball goes. Okay? Because dogs are very, what's the word I'm looking for? I have a friend of mine that says it's the picture changes, right? So they learn what to do in this picture, but if you change the picture even a little bit, they're like, well, that's not what you told me to do 3 seconds ago. So we have to tell them, no matter what happens, you have to continue to do this behavior until I release you. So in that same scenario, the dog's out in my front yard. The dog's in a sit stay. I throw the tennis ball to the right 6 times. And, after the third time, the dog gets it, right? So I'm going to pay. And I'm going to repeat that a bunch of times. Then I'm going to throw the tennis ball to the other side. And like I was saying before, I'm going to throw way up in the air. And then I might give the dog a break. Okay, release, break, free, okay, whatever your break word is. Give them 30 seconds to sniff around the yard and just be a dog, whatever. Then call them back in. All right, Fluffy, come on over here. Sit, stay. And now I'm going to take a stick that I found on the ground and I'm going to throw it. Or I'm going to have one of my kids, okay, ride the bike past me on the sidewalk. I'm going to do all these different things to teach the dog that they have to hold that position, no matter what. And so that's what proofing is. And all you're going to do is take that same principle and apply it to all your other behaviors. So whether that's a place command, whether that's the heel, whether that's recall. Recall is a big one, because typically that's where you're going to have your highest distraction. So the dog comes to you in the house, no problem. You go outside, it sees a bird, and you're like, come here, Fluffy. And he's like, whatever. Right? So this is how we proof that obedience. So again, same scenario with the recall. I'm going to put a 30-foot line on the dog. I'm going to take it outside, and I'm going to wait until that dog is distracted, smelling the flowers, looking at birds in the trees. And I'm going to say, come here, Fluffy. And if he's like, whatever, then I'm going to take the end of that long line and I'm going to start bumping it. Come here, Fluffy. I'm shaking the camera, but I'm saying, come here, Fluffy, come here, come here, come here. And I'm doing those little bumps until Fluffy turns around. And as soon as Fluffy takes that first step towards me and like turns around, looks at me and takes that first step towards me, then the party's on. And I'm like, yeah, Fluffy, that's what I'm talking about. And I might even like move backward a little bit, and kind of hunch down a little bit in a more of a playful kind of body language, welcoming the dog to me. And the dog's going to be like, oh, and he's going to run over to me. And I'm going to pay it with food as soon as he gets to me. Yeah, good job. Boom, boom, boom. Here's your treats. Okay, break. Right? And then the dog starts to learn, okay, break means I can go be a dog again. So go look at the birds in the trees. I don't care. But the next time I say, Fluffy, come here, you have to leave the birds and you have to come to me. Right? And it's doing those things over and over and over again that proves your dog's obedience, right? So your dog will learn, if you are sticking with it, that, oh, I got to recall, I got to come back to that guy every time I'm in the backyard, right? So they learn, okay, I got to come to you because he always follows through in the backyard. But then what am I going to do? I'm going to take the dog to the dog park, and I'm not going to go in the dog park. I'm going to stay outside the dog park, and I'm going to have my same 30-foot line, and I'm going to let the dog see all the excitement in the dog park and want to run in there. And as soon as it wants to start running in there, I'm going to say, Fluffy, come here. And it's going to be the same thing. He's probably going to be like, whatever. And I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to go, nope, boom, 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 on the line. Fluffy, come here, come here, come here. And as soon as he turns and comes to me, yeah, reward with food. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to be very intentional. We have to be intentional in our dog training. You have to think in your mind, what's the thing that I want my dog to do really well, and how can I test that or proof that today? And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can go from inside your house to outside your house, to down the street a little bit, to having a neighbor help you, to going outside the dog park, like I said, to, going to a park. Just, you're constantly setting up your dog for all these different scenarios for your dog to learn to follow through on those commands wherever you are, right? So that is proofing in a nutshell. That took about 9 minutes to say, but that is proofing. As your dog thought for today. Send me your questions. I love doing this stuff. So send it to me. Let me know what you have. And I will be more than happy to answer those and get them back to you. So happy training, and we'll see you next time.